Welcome to another edition of The Brand Called You, a video and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Today, it is my privilege and honor to welcome the doyen of the search firm business in our country, someone who I have known for over 3 decades, Dr. Bish Agrawal. Dr. Agrawal, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Dr. Agrawal is the founder of ABC Consultants. He's the chairman of Accord India. And given the incredible amount of time that he spent in this industry, he has been awarded, recognized, and felicitated globally. So, sir, what would you say are 3 key milestones in your life or your career?
Well, my life spans over 81 years, career for 51 years. So if I review both of them together, I find 3 different distinct phases of my life. I like to divide that into 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
First phase is when I try to build a strong foundation by educating myself, then training myself, grooming myself, and then that was up to the age of 29 and a half.
Okay.
So I will tackle that first.
Okay.
And then I started ABC Consultant in 69 July. Ran that for 15 years. And then went for a review and correction, which lasted up to 2000.
Okay.
So these are the 3 phases, if you like, or 3 milestones, as you call it.
So why don't you tell us about each milestone now, sir?
All right. I was born in a very tiny little village, North Bihar, in 1940. It has a small pathsala with no roof.
Okay. Wow.
I joined the pathsala at the age of 3 and left it at the age of 7.
Okay.
So 4 years, I will say nothing much, not even like a play school. Then I moved to the 20 kilometer away high school where my uncle was stationed. And there I did class 6 and 7. Birlas had a high school there because they had a sugar mill there, Hasanpur. There I picked up the speed. I learned the alphabets first, English alphabets at the age of 8, but picked up the speed pretty rapidly. In 2 years, I came to the level standard of other students.
Okay.
Then my uncle got transferred back to village, so I moved to another city where I had a relative, or Rosra. That was a much more established high school, 5-year-old, and that was very eventful. I was in the arts section. That means history, geography.
Right.
And I topped the class 8 and 9. And the gap between me and the next boy was more than 200 marks.
My goodness.
That gave the liberty to the headmaster to instruct me that whenever a teacher is absent, which used to happen very often in that parts of the world, I will take over as the teacher of that class and I will teach them.
Okay.
I like teaching. I enjoyed that. I liked the authority and the responsibility that came with it. But the boys resented it heavily. If I was them, I would have done the same.
Okay.
So they took their anger out on me in the play field. I was a sports person. I couldn't do without sports. The evening for a couple of hours. And over 2 years, became too much. I couldn't take it any further. So I went to the headmaster. I said, sorry, I want to switch the school. I want to go away. What's your problem? Explain the problem. So he said, okay, that's not an option because we hoping to get a rank in the board based on you, which we have not done in 65 years. So you have to oblige us if you like. You have to,
Okay.
whatever you will say, we'll do, but you cannot leave the school.
Very interesting. Okay.
But tell me what can be the possible solution. I said the easy solution would be that I'm transferred from arts to science section.
Okay.
And I don't know the spelling of history or geography. So I cannot top the class immediately. Of course, maths is common.
Yeah.
Hindi, English is common. Sanskrit I was no good. Gaza was not my cup of tea. He called the head of chemistry and physics in front of me and asked the physics guy, do you know Agrawal? He said, who does not know Agrawal? So he wants to switch to the science section. How long it will take you to bring him to speed? So he said, 3 months.
Wow.
So that's 3 months. He said, because I tutor the weaker students at my home 4 times a week free of cost. I'll put him in that lot. I'll give him 2 basic books of physics. Since he's a maths student, it will be not difficult for him. And I'll bring him to speed. In he was fairly confident.
Okay.
The master was happy. Turned to the chemistry head. He said, well, chemistry requires a lot of memorizing. But he must have done that in geography and history. So he said, look, I might take a little more time, 4 or 5 months. I will do the same. And I will have no difficulty. So the headmaster then dismissed them and sat with me. And he said, okay, since they are very optimistic, I will suggest that you sit both the exams, arts and science. And whichever you do better will be the stream that you will go for.
Okay.
I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't laugh in front of him. It was in my hands, really.
Correct.
So that was the incident. Then we couldn't get the rank. We missed it by a whisker because in my village home, there was an attempt on my father's life.
Wow.
A big dacoity. About 40 armed people came and surrounded the house with the father. But they managed to wound one of my elder brothers. And the family decided that I go with my brother to Daranga hospital and be with him. And that disrupted my studies. And that was the last 3 months of the class 11. We had matriculation in those days.
Yeah.
And everybody, including my headmaster, teachers, family, friends, said that you drop out for a year. Then will be, all of us will be happy. Said, nothing. I'm not going to, even if I get second class, I don't care, but I don't want to lose a year.
Amazing.
I was adamant. I went ahead with it. And I came pretty close to being the top 5. So close that the board tripled the grant to the school.
Okay.
For having produced somebody so close to the right.
Fantastic.
Facilitated my scholarship for college. Recommended to maybe somebody.
Okay.
It was a Micah King. He was the richest man of Bihar. And they had an organization called Bihar Prantiya Marwari Sammelan. It was a means and merit scholarship. And they granted this scholarship for my entire study in India.
Okay.
Because I couldn't have gone to college without a scholarship. We were not, we didn't have that kind of money.
Sure.
My cousin brother was in Calcutta. So showing my mark sheet, he got me admitted in Presidency College, was the best.
Okay.
But there used to be flooding in Bihar, in North Bihar. A destructive river called Kosi, Koso.
Yeah.
Every second year, they wash out everything. That was the period that happened. Everybody knew that. So the Presidency College put a condition that if Agrawal is not able to report within 6 weeks, then I have to give the place to the long wait list.
Right.
No, but 6 weeks we'll wait for him because
okay.
Unfortunately, I could travel to Patna. Sorry, uh, yes, Patna, not Calcutta. First because in Calcutta, I could travel, and I had to sort of settle down in Bihar itself. So ISC, Intermediate Science, was in Legacy College in Muzaffarpur, which was not very eventful, normal. From the control society, I came to the open culture, a lot of diversions, and I didn't do well.
Right.
Didn't do too well. And I was moved, graded down, if you like, to Musa Singh College in Motihari for BSc.
Okay.
There are funny incidents or strange incidents happened. I was preparing for my final exam, was only a couple of months. And a so completely blind man, what we call Surda, arrived at the Motihari platform, railway station, and looking for Vishwanath is shouting. And 3 of my roommates had gone to have relaxation in the evening. And when they approached the Sathi, he said, "Look, आपके साथी विश्वनाथ जी कहाँ हैं?"
Wow.
मैं उन्हीं से मिलने के लिए मोतिहारी आया हूँ और मेरे को यहाँ कोई काम नहीं. They came running to the hostel. I said, I didn't believe them, but they told me. They went back to. While I was 20 yards or so away from Sudaji, he started shouting, "Aye, Vishwanath, please come. I've been waiting for you." Tried to touch his feet, give me his time. He will not have it. I tried to offer some snacks and tea. He said, "Sorry, I'm not allowed." And he said, "Dekhiye, please listen to me. I'm a messenger. I have been sent only to convey to you that you should not be tense. You should have no anxiety because you are going to Bilayat."
Wow.
He meant England. And I said, "When, how, what?" He said, "I have no clue."
And he did not say who the message was from.
This is all I have been asked to convey to you. I will now catch the next train that comes. And in the train, I will give him the next set of instructions.
Okay.
That's my job.
Very interesting.
So for 2-3 days, I thought through it, but then after that, we forgot it. Strange things happen in life. I did well in BSc, and I got into Patna Science for my MSc physics. Again, a very funny thing happened. I always had the habit of sitting in the first row. There's a class or the plane or and a young boy will come and sit quietly next to me. And it happened 3 days in sequence. Each day he will have a new pair of shoes, trousers, shirt. Observe that. And he will stay for an hour or so and then leave the class.
Okay.
When third day it happened, I say, "Hey, don't mind, you the son of a Lord Sahab," that means Lord in English. So he smiled mildly and said, "After the class is over, I'd like to take you out. I think you're from village." I said, "Yes." You come to a very fancy restaurant. When he reached there, the manager was already standing there to salute him. I knew that he's a big man. We sat down together, and then he said, "You're very curious. I'll tell you. Yes, my father is the chief of the police for whole of Bihar.
Wow.
So therefore, and I have got admission at Cambridge to study political science. I only come to amuse myself because there are a few weeks left to go. That's why I do it."
Amazing.
Then I suddenly remember Sudhasi that he had said something like that. I said, "How does one go to England to study? What are the steps?" So he said, "You have to have admission. You have to apply a few colleges, universities that you like. That will not be a problem for a kind of a background, performance. So you get the admission letter. Based on that, you apply for a passport, which is Calcutta in those days. But don't worry about that. My father's office will take care of that. You get the passport delivered here. and then you require foreign exchange.
Mm.
So I said, foreign exchange means I must have money to, first in my pocket.
Mm.
I said, yes, that's the toughest part, what I can gather from thing with you, talking to you. I said, look, I am on a scholarship from class 1 to class 5 by this body. And he said, I know the body. Bish Agrawal is the president. So how do you know him? He says, he had dinner at our home. He's the richest man of Bihar. So he said, that should not be upset. He's given me his visiting card. If ever you need any help, remember, call me. So I'm going to call him.
Okay.
Which I did. He recognized my voice. I didn't have to explain. And he said, Kaise yaad kiya aapne? How did you remember me? Such a gap. So I said, this is the situation. My scholarship is limited to India. And it can be extended to cover England. So he said, look, it is not so simple. We have only sent one scholar to England in our 50, 60 years of existence. That is Ram Manohar Lohia.
Wow.
Or political science. And if you get the scholarship, it is the second one for engineering.
Amazing.
So I have to talk to the national president. I am the Bihar president. I think it should not be difficult because I know you and recommend it strongly. Give me a couple of days.
Okay.
I call you back. He called back within half an hour. And he says, I talked to him and it's all done. He says, look, you have so much faith in him. No problem. We'll give him. I got this course.
Okay.
Engineering for 3 years. I took a slow boat from Bombay to Liverpool because I couldn't afford a plane. It took 21 days.
Wow.
I used to have quite a few Biharis have a choti. You understand it? Choti. And when we landed in Liverpool, BBC team boarded the ship and requested the Italian capital, which was Italian ship, that introduced us to 3 most rustic Indians who do not speak English fluently and who are not street smart. You know what we mean? Meaning backward kind of boys. I was the captain's first choice. And I was produced. And they started drilling. What part of India you come from? I explained North Bihar. They knew North Bihar. I told them they're smaller towns. They knew that. And he said, all right. First question to you is, how big is it a joint family you belong to? I said, yes. How big is the family? I said, look, back home, we don't count the numbers. He said, give me an approximation. So I said, maybe 50. He said, give me the breakdown. So I mentioned father, 2 uncles. Father had 14 children. 7 died in infant mortality. 7 sons are surviving. I'm the 4th one. And then I went down, came up to 30, 32. And rest, I really couldn't. I started making up by saying so many cows and so many goats. They were like family. They're in the same roof. Used. So then again, this second guy took over. He said, 14 children, even from Indian standards. Sounds a little too big. Could you explain to us why, how? And I paused for a minute. Honestly, I didn't know the answer. And then by instinct, I blurted out because we don't have BBC back home yet. And that went viral.
Okay.
It was a live program. Then they said it's a live program, whole of England is listening to you. And that went viral.
Amazing.
I became known as Bish Agrawal. I became quite famous. If you remember, Beatle group happened in Liverpool. And Liverpool, Manchester is only a couple of hours. They were visiting Manchester.
Okay.
I went in introduced, only a couple of minutes for them to recognize for the BBC show.
Wow.
I became very friendly. They were very nice. And we had a good time.
Amazing. So we've already we got 5-6 minutes on the first part, and then we'll have to move to the second part of our conversation. So request you to move to the education.
More rapid.
Yes.
I've been skipping a lot. But
okay, sir.
I was at Manchester Tech for 3 years to do my metallurgical engineering, and head of the department of metallurgy was Professor Antti Wiesel, who taught to Dr. Irani, Dr. Mukherjee. He was in Sheffield, he has shifted to Manchester. So when the first terminal exam took place, he set 6 questions, 4 to be answered in 3 hours. I could answer only 3, but he ranked me very high, 85%. Was higher than his own score. I got invited by him to his house for drinks and dinner, and he thrashed me like nobody's business.
Thrashed means physically thrashed.
He thrashed me publicly.
Okay.
Like nobody's business.
Okay.
So you bloody Indians come to England to enjoy English girls, have a good time, blow the rich father's money like water, and have no seriousness for studies, and things like that. When he got exhausted, when he finished, I said, "Sir, may I respond?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Sir, you got it all wrong. In my case, none of that is true. None of that is true." He said, "Why did you answer only 3 out of 4? I said, "Because I have comprehension difficulty. I cannot comprehend, I cannot think in English, because I come from backward area. My English was very strong." And I said, "If you look at my answered sheets, in the margin you will see that I have translated from English to Hindi and I made some notes, and then back from Hindi to English to write. That slowed me down. But tomorrow you can look at my answer sheets, you will know what I am talking. And you can put me up on the dais and ask the 14 students that are in the class, ask me any question on physical chemistry, because I'm physics.
Correct.
I will have no difficulty. He was very thoroughgoing. He checked it out and he found that what I said was correct. And then he became my best friend, guide. He apologized. He said, "Look, Agrawal, unless your comprehension in English improves, your visit to England will not be productive enough." So he said, "Look, where do you stay?" I said, "International hostel." I said, "That's all for foreign students, subsidized by the Catholic Church." So he said, "You must move out and stay in English family." He gave me 3 names, 3 telephone numbers. He checked them out. Must meet all 3 of them and then feel most comfortable with family. They all know that my recommendation is there. And I chose that.
Okay.
I started living. He said, "You must read English newspaper, particularly the Manchester Guardian. Must read English books, English movies, and preferably English girlfriend."
Okay.
And he became really my guru guide. I did well. Okay. At the end of the first year, I got the all-round best student award, called Pathuk Award. There was an Indian student. After him, this award was named. This was meant only for Pakistanis and Indian boys.
Okay.
For academic performance, sports, and £200 check.
Okay.
So that made me feel at the end of it that I'm getting somewhere.
Absolutely right.
Tarun Das of CII fame and I were batchmates.
Okay.
There was an organization called FEDIN, Federation of Indian Student Societies in Europe.
Okay.
This was a Chris Menon initiative. As you know, Chris Menon is live practically in London. Commie organization funded by Moscow. Tarun did not take it seriously, but I, being a political student leader in Bihar, to me it was a very, very attractive.
Very interesting. Okay.
I spent much more time in that than perhaps in studies. And I got very involved. Lot of vice chancellors in the country I had to take a fight with. All of them I threatened to take them to the court. to solve the Indian students' problems. There are plenty.
Okay. So at what stage did you decide to come back? Because I now need to end our first part in about 1.5 minutes. And then
I moved to Manchester for my postgraduate. American company I met in Allentown, and we were very impressed with the interview. And his father was a Lord. He told him my story because I didn't get my Harvard because I was only 23 and no industrial experience. So Harvard refused to take me, said to come back after 3 years.
Okay.
So I was a bit of a lurch. So after he told my story to father was very nice. He talked to his other Lord friend, who was Lord Plowden, who became the education secretary. And he had designed a program, MBA program of his own. 12 Oxbridge students working for Tube Investment Group of companies that he controlled.
Okay.
He said, bloody Agrawal boy is very lucky, born lucky. And he said, why? He said, only this morning, one of them has dropped out because he got an immigration to Australia. Or send him, let his company, Allentown, sponsor him. He has to be taken care of. MBA expenses, company has to pay. His salary will go to the bank.
Okay.
And this was a fantastic program, very, very demanding. I did extremely well with them. I think 80% of what I am today is because of that company and my dear boss, Trader Straw, who was also a guy in my alma mater.
Amazing.
I came back. I must mention one small thing. Being the Secretary General of FEDIN, I had to deal with the politicians. Labour Party was the power. Harold Wilson was the Prime Minister. Harold Wilson, John Callaghan, who succeeded him, and George Brown. All three of them became very friendly because of our accents. They liked me. Okay. They offered me the safest constituency, Labour constituency in England. And that was the suburb of Birmingham called Smethwick.
Wow.
Okay. Very, very keen. I was underage, 23 at that time. And they said, we're very, very keen and we don't have to fight to it. But 80% of the population are West Indians, Pakistanis and Indians. So
amazing. Amazing.
I wanted to come back.
Okay.
After I told my company that, look, I want to go back now, they said, look, our project is delayed. Therefore, let me pull our network, activate our network. They introduced me to Holman Climax, a compression company in Camborne. The E7 is being held in April. They met me, they liked me, and they have a plant in Calcutta, in Tiragar, with Indian 40% partner.
Okay.
So I landed back in India. It was an expat job, fully air-conditioned bungalow by the river Ganges, Tiragar. Unfortunately, partner was Bird and Hillgers, the managing agency, well-known managing agency. Shankar Ghosh was the director in charge of Holman Climax.
Okay. So, sir, I'm going to have to stop our conversation for a part one now. We've had this absolutely incredible conversation of you starting from rural Bihar and, getting the second individual get after the Ram Manohar Lohia scholarship and declined to maybe fight elections in the UK and, move back to Calcutta. So for all our viewers and listeners, we're going to stop part one with Dr. Agrawal now, and we will start again with him on his journey back to India and how he built ABC Consultants. So, sir, I'm going to stop this now. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the second episode. Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.